Once upon a time, in a small Buddhist monastery, there lived a monk named Ming. He was a kind and gentle soul, but he was also very emotional. He would often cry at the sight of suffering, and he was easily angered by injustice. One day, Ming was sitting in meditation when he had a vision of the Buddha. The Buddha told Ming that he had the potential to become a great teacher, but that he needed to learn to control his emotions. Ming was determined to follow the Buddha's advice. He began to study the teachings on detachment and equanimity. He also began to practice a meditation technique called mindfulness, which helped him to observe his thoughts and feelings without judgment. Over time, Ming began to notice that his emotions were becoming less intense. He was still able to feel compassion for others, but he was no longer overwhelmed by his feelings. He was also able to remain calm and collected in difficult situations. One day, a group of bandits attacked the monastery. They stole the monks' food and supplies, and they beat up several of the monks. Ming was one of the monks who was attacked, but he did not react with anger or fear. He simply remained calm and collected. The bandits were surprised by Ming's lack of emotion. They had never seen a monk who was so detached. They asked Ming how he was able to remain so calm in the face of adversity. Ming smiled and said, "I have learned to control my emotions. I know that anger and fear are useless emotions. They only make things worse. When I am calm and collected, I am able to think clearly and make wise decisions." The bandits were impressed by Ming's wisdom. They apologized for their behavior and promised to never return. Ming continued to teach at the monastery for many years. He was a wise and compassionate teacher, and he was known for his ability to remain calm and collected in all situations. One day, Ming was walking through the village when he saw a group of children playing. The children were laughing and having a good time. Ming smiled. He was glad to see the children so happy. But then one of the children fell and scraped his knee. He started to cry loudly. Ming sighed. He knew that he should help the child, but he was also worried about getting emotional. Ming took a deep breath and walked over to the child. He helped the child to his feet and cleaned his scraped knee. "Are you okay?" Ming asked. The child nodded. He stopped crying and smiled at Ming. "Thank you," the child said. Ming smiled back. He was glad that he had been able to help the child without getting emotional. Ming continued on his way. He was proud of himself for making progress on his journey to become more emotionless. Becoming emotionless is a journey, not a destination. It takes time and practice, but it is possible to learn to control your emotions so that they do not control you. Here are some tips on how to become more emotionless. Identify your triggers. What are the things that typically set you off emotionally? Once you know your triggers, you can start to develop strategies for avoiding them or coping with them in a healthy way. Challenge your negative thoughts. When you have a negative thought, ask yourself if it is really true. Is there any evidence to support it? If not, then challenge the thought and replace it with a more positive one. Practice acceptance. Accept that you will experience negative emotions from time to time. That is perfectly normal. The key is not to let those emotions control you. Accept them, acknowledge them, and then let them go. Meditate on detachment. Detachment is the practice of letting go of attachments to people, places, and things. When you are detached, you are not swayed by your emotions. You are able to remain calm and collected even in difficult situations. It is important to note that becoming emotionless does not mean becoming uncaring. It simply means learning to control your emotions so that they do not control you.